Hey guys, FreeFriends91, and I'm bringing you a video today on how Call of Duty Black Ops 3 single-player campaign will not be making its way to the last gen. That's the Xbox 360 and the PS3. The whole single-player campaign will be skipping last gen and only being on current gen and the PC. First off, let me say, I don't think I was kind of surprised that Black Ops 3 was even coming to last gen, because the Xbox One and the PS4 have been out for almost 2 years now, and they're still making the games for both last and current gen. That just doesn't make much sense to me. Now, I understand it's Activision. They got plenty money, and they want to make plenty money, so they're like, you know what? There's still a bunch of people who haven't moved on to either Xbox One or PS4 yet. I haven't either. I still have my Xbox 360. Yes, I have a Wii U, but I haven't gotten an Xbox One or PS4 yet. And they're going to be like, oh, well, you know, we should actually cater to both markets to make the most money. And Activision is a business. They need to make money. That does make sense. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, how do these guys really making two versions of the game and then cutting off a huge chunk of it and going, oh, that's fine. I'm like, I know that most people don't play. Most people focus on Call of Duty multiplayer and not Call of Duty single player. But I, for one, enjoy Call of Duty single player and would hate to buy the game and not have the single player in there. Especially when I know that another version of the game on the current gen consoles has the single player. It just doesn't make sense to me. But it's just strange to me that Activision thinks this is just fine. I mean, it is, once again, it is Call of Duty. Some people probably don't even play the single player. They jump straight on the multiplayer. But to still take a huge chunk of the game out there and then just call it a day, I think that they're trying to just take advantage of the money, and they need to just be like, okay, we're not releasing on current gen anymore. That's just my personal opinion. I think that these companies need to, even though, once again, they're a business, I think they just need to move on to next gen, and eventually the consumers will follow, I believe. I believe that if Activision started to say there will be no Call of Duty on last gen consoles anymore, that the consumer would finally be more motivated to buy an Xbox One or PS4. Because let's face it, as long as the games are coming out on the consoles we already own, why would we buy the next consoles? I mean, Activision, if you want us to move on to the PS4 and Xbox One, even though I know they probably just care more about making money on the games, then stop providing us with these games that will make it on both consoles. Now, even though this isn't coming with the single player, it still is likely that this will make a lot of money on last gen consoles, because a lot of people probably still own their last gen consoles. I mean, I still do. So I don't think that, because it's both the consumer and it's the consumer's fault too. I'm to blame as well, because we keep buying the games that make it to both last gen and current gen. So we're not showing the developers that there is a reason for them to stop making it for both platforms. But this, to me, is just like a wake-up call, because like they want to bring it to both platforms so bad that they're willing to cut out the single player so that they could bring it to the last gen consoles. And I'm like, what? I could get it if you cut out a mode, like with Call of Duty Ghosts, where they had the mode that was only on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think the PC version, where you could have more people in the game than just like 6v6 and stuff. And that makes to me make sense. That's fine. But to cut out the whole single player from the last gen, release it on the last gen, and then just call it basically a full game. I mean, you're paying $50 for it. That's granted, you're not paying 60. At least they were smart enough to know to drop it by $10. But still, you're paying $50 for this game with no single player. I just think that they need to forget about last gen. That's just my personal opinion. People need to move on. I mean, that's just my opinion. Even though, once again, I don't own an Xbox One or PS4. So if I'm saying this, then yeah, because me personally, buying a game without the single player when the single player is available on another version of the game on the current gen consoles, to me that's kind of just a ripoff, and I don't think I'd be buying Black Ops 3 on my Xbox 360 since it doesn't have the single player. Well, that's my opinion. Tell me your opinions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and may God bless you all.